Hello, good afternoon. This is Cramahe Library here. So, as you probably are all aware, Canada Reads Shortlist is out, and the debate will take place on CBC between March 27th and March 30th. However, having bumped into one of our most avid readers and patrons of the library, she gave such a brilliant synopsis of each book that I thought I would invite her to come and give us her opinion on the 5 shortlisted books. So we are now going to start. Take it over, B.
Good day. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the books of Canada Reads 2023. The theme for this year is one book to shift your perspective. The stories we tell and the way we tell them can shape how we see ourselves, our communities, and the real world. One of the books, I'm going to list the 5 books now. Ducks by Kate Beaton, Greenwood by Michael Christie, Hotline by Dimitri Nasrallah, Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, and Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. The first one that I read was called Ducks. It is a graphic memoir novel. It's the first graphic novel I've ever read before, and the first book I read in the Canada Reads finalist. I must admit, I truly enjoyed this memoir of Kate's, which is about 2 years she spent working in the oil fields in Alberta in 2005 to earn funds to pay off her student debt. I enjoyed her depiction of being a female working in basically a man's world. Very reminiscent for me, as I also worked in a manufacturing facility from 1974 to 2014 and grew very accustomed to all the nuances of being a female in a man's world. It was a very honest portrayal of what she experienced and really would give you a different perspective of that way of life. The next book I read was called Greenwood. That was a fabulous family story about a relationship with trees and nature. I devoured this book. It took a while to get involved with it, as it starts out in the future, 2038, when our forests are more and more depleted and rare. But then, just like the rings of the tree, we go one layer down in to see how we get to where the story starts. The story goes deeper and deeper like the rings of the tree, with beautiful prose and images that keep you reading more and more. It tells about the Greenwood family and how the woman at the beginning, it relates to her parents, her grandparents, and her great-grandparents. And it's truly one of the best books I've read in a few years, and I still think about it when I am in the trees and the woods looking up. All these stories they have about their seasons and their life that if they could share with us. Hotline, it was a small book. It was a story about one woman's struggle to overcome the challenges of immigration into a new country. Muna Haddad and her son immigrated from Lebanon to Montreal in 1986. She was a teacher in Lebanon, but no one wanted to hire her in Montreal for that role. So she got the only job she could as a hotline operator for a weight loss clinic. She has many struggles as a new immigrant with finding lodging and earning enough money to keep herself and her son safe, clothed for the winter, and fed. But thanks to the kindness of some folks in Montreal and her honest work ethic, she makes it through, and gradually her life improves. Once again, this book made me think about all the advantages I've had in my life without the struggles that new immigrants have in our country. And also thinking about how kindness helps so much. A very good read. Mexican Gothic. It was my 4th book. It was a Gothic horror novel centering on a young woman investigating her cousin's claims that her husband is trying to murder her. I had seen this book in the library before, but wasn't too interested in it, based on the theme and the subject matter. But I was pleasantly surprised as the characters pulled me in with the author's story. I was curious about how and why this cousin was in the situation she was in, why this house was so creepy, and why the main character didn't leave and just felt she had no choice about leaving. But I wasn't really satisfied with how it ended, as in my opinion, it just went on too long and became more strange as the novel progressed. I'm glad I read it, but was not really seeing how it shifted my perspective. And then the last book, Station 11. It takes place in the Great Lake region before and after a fictional swine flu epidemic has devastated the world, killing most of the population. This book that came out in 2014, and it seemed too futuristic for my reading taste. Little did we know that COVID would come in 2020 and change our views on everything for the world as we know it. I did find this book more interesting than I originally thought I would, probably because of our COVID situation, and I read most of the book. I found it very thought-provoking, and it made me imagine the world as the author was describing. But I didn't finish this book, partly because halfway through I contracted COVID myself and wasn't enjoying anything for a few days. But I do think this book's theme definitely changes a person's opinion of the world as we know it, and it was very well written. My ranking for the Canada Reads is my number 1 choice, Greenwood. My second choice, Ducks. My third choice was Hotline. My fourth choice, Station 11. And my fifth was Mexican Gothic. I hope you enjoy reading them as much as I did.
Well, hey, thank you so much to our avid reader from the Cockburn Library. And just another reminder, Canada Reads debates are between March 27 and March 30th on CBC. Take care, everyone. Bye.